Hello everybody. Today I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Serge and I'm creating this channel to encourage others to talk about the things that I learned in my life that I think are very important, that I would write down in my own journal to review each day, look at, and kind of just give myself a jog in the mind to remind myself every day of the things and principles that I would want to follow to have the best purpose in my day, to get things done that I want to get done, and to further my own priorities, goals in life, with my family, with my children, at the moment child, perhaps in the future more children, and that sort of thing. So I'm just going to start out today by talking about a book that I recently read, which has led me to not only begin talking about this sort of thing and encouraging others to reach their life goals, but also this has helped me in my own life to get over the guilt of being able to say no to things that just simply don't matter or would take up too much time, not out of being mean, not out of being unhelpful. Actually, quite the contrary. You could be very helpful for people, but without pushing into your own life other people's problems that they need to handle themselves to be able to learn their lessons and continue going from there, because you wouldn't be helping them in that case. Anyway, without further ado, just wanted to talk to you about this book. It's called Essentialism by Mckeown. It's a fairly short read, I would say. He does repeat himself a little bit a few times here and there. It's not quite as short as some of the other books I've read where they get straight down to the point. But the things he does talk about help you improve your own thinking and apply it to your own life, to your everyday situations. And not simply very specific things, but he's able to generalize it where you would actually be able to use this in many aspects of your life. So as you can see, I've read this book. I've got it sticky noted up with notes for myself to come back to, which is another reason why I actually like to own the book, because I'll highlight it, I'll put the sticky notes, and I didn't used to do that before. But now I realize the more I learn from other books and that sort of thing, the less I could actually keep in my head and remind myself every day, which is also another reason why I've started a journal, to keep track of just the best little golden nuggets that I want to remind myself every day and go over and read and follow through that way. So the main point of this book is to do less but do it better. Many people might confuse this with minimalism. But minimalism is more of a style that you would apply to certain things, to a certain style of your house, or a style of not exactly living, but more of I styled this way, I styled this that way, but it's not a way of life completely. Essentialism applies to every aspect of life. You could apply it to everyday decisions, whether at work with your boss, whether at home, whether your neighbors, whether your friends, and that sort of thing, and it just keeps on giving. One of the main tidbits that stood out to me in this book is the quote that says, "If you don't prioritize your life, someone else will." And that, I realized, is the truth, ladies and gentlemen, because when you don't put priorities in your own life, you don't know where you're headed, you don't know exactly what you're going to be doing either tomorrow, the next day, and that sort of thing, and what things you need to be doing to reach your own goals and priorities. So if you don't know, when somebody comes up and asks you about, hey, can you do this on Friday night? Can you do that on Friday night? In your mind, since you don't have any priorities, you will just say yes without thinking about it, or no, or yes, because you don't know whether or not it will actually help you reach your own goals or detract from those goals. And oftentimes, we will sign ourselves up for more than we can handle, and therefore stress our own selves out and having somebody prioritizing our life without us being able to choose. Because we do a lot. We have to take care of the kids. We have to take care of our spouses. We have to go to work. We have to do this. We have to do that. There's many different things. But a lot of times we struggle with things like TV, movies, entertainment, helping out a friend. Sure, it's a good thing. But you don't always have to say yes. You don't have to say yes to the person that takes advantage of you. Even though you would feel guilty doing so, a lot of times people need to learn to handle their own problems. And this book goes through quite a few examples of where that could be the case. and how to say no the right way without hurting anybody's feelings. Sometimes it's not possible, but oftentimes people need to handle their own problems. And actually, this book pointed me to a different book called Boundaries. And that book also is a very good read and talks about setting their boundaries and where other people's problems should not be your problems. You can help out, but you shouldn't adopt their problems and make them your own, because then the person doesn't learn their lesson and cannot move on from that point in their life. An elderly couple came into a psychiatrist's office, or so the story goes, and talks to him about, hey, we have a problem. Our son, he didn't even want to come here today. We've come to talk about his problems, how he's staying at home, can't find a job, can't hold one down. If he ever does find one, doesn't do his laundry, doesn't do this, doesn't pay rent, only sits on his computer and plays games. So, after explaining this, they said, our son has a problem. And the psychiatrist, being the smart person he was, looked at them and said, he asked them what they do. And they said, well, when he doesn't come, we do this, we do that, we'll do this, we'll try to push him here, we'll try to do that. And he realized and told them, you're right, or he's right. He doesn't have a problem. You do. And he went on to explain that they were adopting all of his problems and not letting him live the life consequences. They just came and kept helping him out, bailing him out every single time, which seems to be happening a lot in today's world as far as politics are concerned. But this used to happen so many times that he just got used to. If he messes up, his mommy and daddy would come and rescue him, fix everything for him, and he doesn't have a problem. So he was right. He doesn't have a problem. His parents do. So what the psychiatrist told him to do? Stop taking care of all of those problems. Help him to help himself by fixing his own problems, learning his lesson, being able to grow, mature, and move on, and work his way up to wherever he needs to go. The other thing that you will find in this book is that as you read, you will realize there's many places in your life where you could cut back, completely edit out certain aspects of things that you do that are not necessary at all. What this will help you do and accomplish is to further the one goal, the one priority right now that needs to be done, and it'll actually help you get ahead. So this has already helped me because I've been able to cut back on certain things that just weren't necessary. I was bothering my mind, and I had it on my shoulders that I needed to get this done and that sort of thing. And when after reading this book, I wrote it all down, looked at the priorities, things that were, I probably should do that or this, and just wipe them all out. And then cross them out. You could even sit down with your spouse if you're married and look at it that way. And then as you go up the list, you see the number one priorities that you need to get done, and you just work on the first one, and that's it. I mean, sometimes it is not possible, but you need to focus on those top priorities. And just like a sun gives off in many different directions, if you focus it with a laser beam, or like a solar panel solar collector, you will get the most energy in one spot if you could focus it. So it's about focus on that one top priority and being able to cut through the junk that you don't need. There's also good evidence in this book that points to the people who are in the top of their game are actually following the principles of the essentialist. They are able to focus on the number one priorities that matter and succeed big time. This includes religious leaders, CEOs, lawyers, doctors, whoever is at the top of their game has followed many of the principles listed in this book. So, I just wanted to throw this out there today and tell you guys about this book, and so that you'd understand that there are things that we can come back on. And I didn't want to make it sound like, hey, go be a jerk to your neighbor. Tell that person no. Tell him you're not going to help. That is not the point of being an essentialist. Quite on the contrary, if a friend that you want to get closer to, or you want to help to, or show love to, or neighborliness, by all means, that's one of your priorities, go help them. Do well. Be blessed in that, yes. The other thing, if you realize that somebody's taking advantage of you, just like that man that lived with his parents there, and they took all of his problems, he was taking advantage of them. If you notice people like that in your life, that needs to be a clear no so that you can focus on the things you want to succeed at and move on further with life. So, with all this in mind, I just wanted to tell you all have a wonderful, blessed day. If you're looking to get this book, I'll throw a link down below. But just follow along some of those principles. Be able to say no, follow through with the things that matter. And if you read this book, it'll help you learn how to apply some of those things in your life, how to be able to say no gracefully without hurting or offending people, and being able to move on and succeed at the things that really matter to you, whether it be family, whether it be business goals, whether it be financial or your job and that sort of thing. Just go ahead and give it a read. Maybe your local library has a copy as well. If they don't, I'm sure you could always request it. Otherwise, there's going to be a link down below where you can pick it up on Amazon, and you could go from there. So, if you like this video, if you like this thought, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Thumbs up for being able to prioritize your life and moving on and being successful at what you would want to do. And if you think it'll help your friends or anybody else in your life that you know, go ahead and give it a share and comment down below whether you think it's good or bad or what your thoughts are on it. I'd like to hear what everybody else thinks, because my opinion is certainly not the bottom line. Take care, everybody.